So for those of you who don't know, I'm Kristin Zwickau, and I was working with Kathy closely on the New England chapter until we realized that the early onset chapter needed, or early onset group needed some more attention. So my focus shifted over there as Kathy stepped up and did more, and Lexi took on the walk and roll. And by the way, we need a new walk and roll leader. So anyone who wants to take that on, please see Kathy and Lexi. So anyways, the early onset chapter is all about really the kids. And there hasn't been a lot of research or talk around the kids in the past. And so when Allie Rhodes called me 6 years ago and said that the children will be left behind even when the studies start, that something needed to be done. So that's been our passion project for the past 6 years. There's definitely moments where we feel that we don't have anyone listening, and then all of a sudden things happen and we're like, whoa, people are listening. So what I can say about advocacy is that there are definitely dark days where you feel like it's not really moving the needle, and then something happens and you're like, wow, all that work I just did actually is paying off. So I encourage all of you to have questions, or if you want to get involved, please. We're looking, the old saying that many hands makes light lifting, or whatever that is. I probably did that all wrong. But the more people that are involved and the more voices we have, the more we can get done. So to give a quick summary, we just actually had a year end where we were talking about what have we really accomplished, because I work with another two moms, Allie Rhodes and Debbie, and we look back and we're like, oh, we haven't really done very much. But then we sat down and we said, what have we done? And a year ago, about maybe a couple of weeks ago, we had the first early onset sponsored meeting in Sonoma, sponsored by Solve FSHD, where they brought in all the early stage bio companies to talk about what do we need to do to get kids into clinical trials. And it was the first time that we had a very small summit. It was 2 solid days. It was long, it was hard, but we were able to walk away with different initiatives that they felt needed to put in place where they could feel more confident in looking at this population in the future. So that was the kickoff of our year. With that, we came out of a funded research, retrospective research study that's in play right now, that's being funded by Solve FSHD, that is taking medical records from the kids that are now 20 and 30, but they were diagnosed before the age of 10. And they're taking their medical records and they're going back so that they can start to create more information around how did this manifest with patients that were diagnosed at an earlier age that can then help with clinical trial design in the future without having to do long 10-year studies that we don't have time for. So we also had our first meeting where kids were at the Connect conference with the FSHD Society in Denver this year, which was huge. It was the first time that there was really a centered focus around a kid program being run, and the kids were brought in, and there was a lot of excitement from the kids around that. Even though there were only a handful that went, the ones that did go came away with a very positive experience and connection points with each other, which was super exciting. So thanks to FSHD Society in June, a lot of effort in on your part to make that happen. But that was huge because that was the first time that the voice again was heard, and we got an opportunity. We were also successful in helping an NIH study called Move Plus for pediatrics. And it's going to move the needle for future natural history studies for kids. And that is now getting underway and enrolling kids. It was a 2-year conversation with Dr. Satlin and company, but that's finally starting to bring forward progress. The last piece that was a huge piece for us as parents was that we had, even though it did not work out because Fulcrum pulled the study, we had the first pediatric patient approved by the FDA to start a clinical trial. So that was our biggest movement for the year. So it didn't work out, but the success was that the FDA approved a child. And so that is no longer a barrier for putting more kids in front of the FDA to get them approved into clinical trials for FSHD.
In Europe too.
And right now there is a meeting going on in Europe today as we speak. Allie Rhodes they're speaking to the researchers about the urgency and the need. And then we're also working with regulatories with the FSHD Society to put a listening session together in front of the FDA about the severity and the more severe patients for this year. So So that's our group, and we would love more people to join. So let us know, and if you want to help in any way at all.